Hey guys, welcome to Euro USD review. I'm going to go over what went down since the Sunday open. I'm going to go over the breakout that we're witnessing right now, and we're going to start off here on a 45-minute chart. You can see this bull flag that I've been tracking pretty much since December 4th. We came down and nearly tested it here on Friday the 5th, and we did come back and test it exactly on the Monday open actually. So that is precisely what we do here. We look for levels, we look for chart patterns that are relevant. The bull flag is the most important one. You will find channels like this over all time frames. And then you can see we hit it exact here on Wednesday overnight. Let's look at some of the setups that presented real quickly. The last setup that I showed on Friday was a failed breakdown of this low in this shelf right here, this zone, and that worked out great to hit that resistance of the bull flag. On Monday morning, well, Sunday open actually I should refer to first. We ended up hitting that overnight. So the setup here was very tough, pretty much a little consolidation. It was a level reclaim of this level. You can see the acceptance was great. 1, 2, 3 clear acceptance triggers before pushing through around 7 o'clock, and that went from 1645 up all the way to 1671 for a solid 25 plus points. And then we hit this and sold. That's exactly what you want to see in a consolidation. This type of trading, range trading, is the best and most lucrative, if only because you're constantly getting setups at least once or twice a day. So moving forward, Monday morning we sold down. When we sell, I'm looking for a bounce somewhere. The bounce is usually at my major levels. This was a big zone right here, kind of a dip in recovery. You could play that a multitude of ways. I'm going to go to a 15-minute chart real quick and then slowly zoom over to Monday and see how the exact price action looked. So here we are. We set a clear low. You could have taken the long on the, look at this exact tag of this level. I can't make it better. You could, if you wanted to go long there, and that worked for 10 quick points. But for me, I'm looking for the trap. I'm looking for more setup. So I had a clear low here. So I was interested in that low potentially clearing. We did not clear it. We tried, but we got back down and we set up a little mini failed breakdown at this major level after selling 30-40 points into it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. When we trapped here, we pushed up. I waited a little bit for it to settle. I noticed a little bit back test right here, this level one more time. I entered. I did have a little bit of a couple point drawdown, but then eventually in the afternoon we pushed up to the next level and I took my profits. So that was a great trade on Monday afternoon. As I reset the chart now back to a 45-minute chart, let's go back to Monday afternoon now, late afternoon. We just sat at this level, not much to do, kind of a mini failed breakdown right there. You see the low was set, we undercut it at 5 o'clock and then pushed back up, as well as acceptance of the major zone there, pushed above, back tested it. One could have longed if they wanted to, especially after this second back test and dip. You can go long here around 545. That worked great, level to level. We offered a little minute, kind of a double dip failed breakdown where we didn't lose this low overnight, but we tagged into this level, dip and recovered it. That one could have long once you're back above, and that worked out great for another trade. And then we sold down. So Tuesday, rest of that morning, we sold down. Not much for me to do. I was looking for a failed breakdown of this low. That's why I have this red line here. What do? We undercut it on the 15-minute chart right at the open of the stock market and went right above. So I would have went long about 4 points above. So you're looking at this major zone that happened to coincide with that. So that was my trigger. Simply put, just go long over it. A little bit more nuanced. We want to look for acceptance. If we don't get acceptance, we want it to wait for it to be above at least 4-5 points above that low that you're working with, and hold for at least a minute or two, and or look for fuel. So if you see the price starting to push up really hard and heavy, you wait a minute or so, make sure it stays above, and at that point you can now enter the trade because you see the strength of that setup. We're trading the setups that the market institutions trade, so we don't have to fear. If we see the power, we know it's good to go. On a 5-minute chart here, you can see we dipped below, tagged this bottom part of that zone exact, pushed up and pushed back down below the trigger, And then 5 minutes later, we started pushing up at 10.15. Once it holds for a few minutes, I went long around 16.22, and I waited for this back test because of the power of this failed breakdown, the extreme sell, the clear low that we used, and that went from 22 up to 34. I got almost 12 points out of it. It was a heavy trade. And then we came back, offered a second entry close to the trigger, but not quite close enough for me to add back to the trade if I wanted to. So I just sat on my hands at that point. We came back though on Tuesday afternoon, later that day, to back test the low and then the trigger. And then after we went above and went back down and held that trigger, I decided to add a little more around 145.2, and that was a good idea, and I'll show you why in a second. Because on that Tuesday, after I added it, we sat on it for a while. We did get up about 7-8 points right away, so I took a little bit off just to be safe, and then I just sat on it because I liked the setup. And then that eventually overnight flew up to tag that bull flag exact, where I took off a little bit more and left a runner in hopes that I would get one more opportunity to add. When I woke up on Wednesday, I noticed that we tagged this, we came down, we are working on reclaiming this zone above, and the only thing below I'm looking for is a failed breakdown, potentially of this cluster of low tagging this level, maybe this low only recovering this level, or ideally losing all these lows below. We didn't get any of that. What we got was a potential reclaim of this level. See how we hit it, slow down, see how we push through and slow down. Typically you want to be patient with these reclaims because the A+ setup is always better. You want it to be obvious when you enter this type of trade, and that's what we got. We got a little bit of a dip again at 8.15. We came right back. That's my cue now. I had 1, 2, this is the third time we accepted it, trapped enough people, so I entered that trade around 16.37 and immediately went up 7 points. I took some profits. I held my runner. We came back and pushed up again. I was good. We came back a third time around 10:30 and held that level one more time. I added back a little bit more because I like that setup, and we're going into FOMC. Rest of the morning on Wednesday yesterday, we came out, tried to break out, sat on this level above the resistance here, and then one more time dipped below and then started pushing off. I was already in a runner, happy to hold on to that, and then we've been up now from this breakout from 16.55 all the way up to 17.38, so almost 100 points in a matter of less than 24 hours. You can see the great acceptance at this zone too. Everything was predetermined, the levels. We hit it exact, slow down, back tested this level. One could have taken this last night late if you were up. Came back, another back test, acceptance, pushed through. A single final back test here at 5:30 a.m. before pushing through. You couldn't have drawn this up better. This is exactly what you want to see if you're going to be willing to take a reclaim, especially so high up away from any recent lows. So you're really like navigating in a precious area where you got to be careful. With that said, beautiful action. We're pushing up. We should be hitting this major zone and selling down at some point now, but you never know. If we go parabolic, we go parabolic. I'm just really proud of the work I constantly put in. This is not an accident. This is not guessing. This is hard work, understanding how the market moves. And we have a clear back test of this level right here too. Resistance of this bull flag on a major time frame. So I think that also aligns with what we could be hitting before we sell down and set up more levels. At this point, nothing to do but just sit on hands and enjoy the ride.